Hey guys, so I got a bit of winning feeling today. So I got the winning gear on from Canterbury ITM Cup and Crusaders because I hit 2,000 subs overnight. Very cool. Thank you guys for that. Everyone who subs, comments, subscribes. Did I say subscribes and subs? Watches. All that stuff is very cool. It's why I do the channel, and it is much appreciated. Thank you guys so much for your support. It really means a lot and allows me to kind of keep on going with this channel. I said if I hit 2,000 subs, I would do a Q&A, so that's coming up. And I'll just have a quick word on Twitter at the end. I've got a few questions here which have come through in the comments. I'll try to keep it brief, because yeah, there's a few of them. So, some people have asked about my accent. Don't sound like a typical Kiwi. Why is that? Basically, I lived abroad for 7 years in China. All my colleagues were Americans, Canadians, South Africans, Australians, very few Kiwis. So, yeah, my accent just got kind of a bit mixed up. So, yeah. I am actually from Auckland. Born and raised. Typical Jaffa, if you know what that means. But, yeah, weird accent. What do I do? Cardinia guessed it. I am a paper pusher. I work for a university here in Auckland. Not teaching, but just sitting in an office, pushing emails and other stuff instead of actual paper, but you know what I mean, office job, nothing exciting. However, some people have asked why I was in China. How could I be away from my work so long in China? What was I doing in China? Well, basically my university gives us guys as well as girls parental leave on top of what the government gives, so I had 3 months off, a combination of annual leave and parental leave. So yeah, when my wife and I had a kid, we headed to China. She is Chinese. I lived in China from age like 23 to 30, so kind of makes sense that I got married over there. And yeah, we had our kid over there, and I was just watching rugby and look after kids all day, every day. So that's that. I've also been asked my favorite rugby player and who I think the best player is. I'm going to go Grant Fox for my favorite, because he came to my school as a kid. He used to win games for Auckland all the time when I was a kid. He's not that impressive as an All Black selector nowadays, but when I was a kid, he was the man, and I used to want to be Grant Fox. Who do I think the best rugby player is? I'm going to go Michael Jones, because he's still from that time when I couldn't really... Like, I was a kid for the most part, so I wasn't paying that close attention. But everyone said, man, if this guy could play on Sundays, he would be the best ever. So he's still got the kind of mystique about him. I did meet him briefly as a kid as well, and he seemed like a really nice guy. And by all accounts, he was just a great player who didn't play on Sundays. So both Kiwi players kind of make sense because they're from my childhood as a kid. There's a lot of other options I could have gone through, but those are my picks. Dylan asks about the editing for my videos. Could I add videos or pictures? I could. I'm a little bit cautious about adding video because of the copyright. If anyone ever decides to claim on the copyright, like the copyright owners to the video clips, be it like Sky Sports or Super Rugby or Super Sport or whoever owns the rights, if they ever decided to claim on them, all my videos would have copyright strikes on them, so kind of keen to avoid that. Plus, my computer edits videos very slowly. When I do actually put pictures in, like my jersey comparisons, rankings, those things like take 2+ hours to edit. So it's kind of a balance of, do I want to add a picture or do I want to get the video up quickly? So I usually go for quickly. But yeah, I'll look at that in future if I can get a better computer for sure. Ben wants to know what school did I go to and what position did I play. I went to Onehunga High School, which is here in Auckland. It is not a typical kind of known for its sports school. It's just an average school, probably a bit below average. All the big sports stars from when I was in school were headhunted and left my school to go to bigger schools. And yeah, what position did I play? I never actually played for my school team. I never played for a club team. Pretty disappointing answer, I know. My mum didn't want me to play sports as a kid. I kind of understand it because as a kid, I was just tall and skinny. I was a beanpole. Imagine like Glenn McGrath if he was me. Yeah, I played cricket and I played soccer. Soccer I was terrible. Cricket I was okay. Opened the batting. Scored a little. Well, I scored okay, but I mostly just stayed in all day. Just, yeah, the anchor. Anyway, so yeah, I'd never played much rugby. We played at lunchtime. I played, I guess, kind of like a flanker, but the game was literally that casual that nobody really cared what position anyone was playing. And anytime the first 15 guys came to join us, they just ripped us to bits. So, yeah, no real great rugby history for myself there, unfortunately. Brody wants to know who I think is going to win the Mitre 10 Cup this year. I think maybe Otago and Canterbury would be my two picks. They seem like the favourites anyway, so no big surprises there. Michael wants to know, do they sell knockoff jerseys, rugby jerseys in China? Not that I've seen. They certainly come from China, but they probably don't sell them in China because there's no market for them among domestic people. It's like, yeah, I couldn't find many clothes in China because I'm too big. I'm like 6'4". Who asked that? That was Dylan from Pretoria. Wanted to know how tall I am. 6'4", so 194 centimeters, and yeah, I couldn't find clothes in China, despite the fact that most clothes are made in China these days. They don't sell them to locals because nobody buys them. I mean, I met guys in China who were taller than me. Don't get me wrong, but yeah, there wasn't that much for sale in terms of big sizes. So in terms of rugby stuff, there's nothing much for sale, genuine or knockoff. Michael also wants to know, why did I start a YouTube channel? To summarize it, basically, when I was on parental leave with my son, I had 3 months off. He was only 3 months old until 6 months. He slept a lot of the day, so I ended up watching a lot of TV. And during the daytime, there's not much TV on, as a lot of you guys will know. But the ice hockey was on. So I was watching a lot of ice hockey, the NHL. And I started watching a YouTube channel based on watching the NHL games. That was a YouTube channel called The Hockey Guy. And he has a whiteboard, and he does reviews and previews and power rankings, and he has magnets, and he wears jerseys, and all that kind of stuff that I like to do on my channel as well. I thought, man, I wish there was a channel like this for rugby. So basically, I decided to make one. That's it. I have said that I will support him on Patreon, by the way. YouTube hasn't paid me, so my channel is still very small, so I haven't got any money from YouTube. But if that ever happens, I'll put some, at least, to the Hockey Guy, because I figure I owe him for this basically. He's the inspiration for the channel, so might as well kind of give that credit where it's due. Unbiased Rugby wants to know, when did I start loving rugby? Well, I always loved it as a kid, even though I didn't play. My dad would always take me to Eden Park to watch the rugby. We'd also go to club rugby. But I kind of fell out of love with it as a teenager, because you go through that phase of, well, my old man is into that, so I don't want to do that. I want to do something on my own. So when I finally did get back into rugby a few years, probably my late teens, early 20s, I was at least trying to do it my own way. So this is why I was watching the Cats at 3 in the morning, not just the Blues. Even my dad was like, man, what are you doing? Getting up to watch the Cats play another South African team. And I was like, I like Andre Pretorius. He's like, he's not that good. I was like, I like Andre Pretorius. Anyway, that's a long story, but that's basically, I started loving rugby as a kid, went out of it, and then got back into it. Guy wants to know how old I am. I am 34 years old. Dylan from Pretoria also wants to know, why did I choose 2 Cents Rugby? Basically because I wanted to make this YouTube channel based on what I talked about earlier. But I'm not an expert. I'm not a former player. I'm not a pundit. So I was just like, it's basically just my 2 cents. So 2 Cents Rugby seems like a fitting title. Kids, I've got 2, a boy and a girl, 3 years old almost, and 3 months old almost. What did I want to do for my job when I was a kid versus my job now? For a while I wanted to be a mechanic, then I wanted to be a pilot. But I'm tall and I've got glasses, so not really conducive to being a pilot. So I ended up working in China for 7 years, and then coming back to New Zealand and working in an office. Things you do. Do I come from a big family? Can't remember if I answered that. 2 kids and a brother. Yeah. And Sumo Rugby wants to know who I think the best players are in the world by position. I think Malcolm Marx is the world's best hooker. But if I was going to go for every position, I probably need a video of its own. But yeah, that's the Q&A. If you guys have got any follow-ups to those questions, I'll be happy to answer them in the comments. Also, I should mention Twitter. When I signed up for this YouTube account, I also opened a Twitter account, but I never used it. It is at 2 Cents Rugby. I figure I might as well start using it. Probably tweet just some rugby stuff and perhaps in-game stuff if I'm watching games, because sometimes I'm watching a game and I mean to write down a note and then I forget about it and I forget to put it in the videos, and then yeah, so if I'm doing Twitter I can probably do a bit of both. But yeah, that's it. as I said, thank you guys so much for 2,000 subs. It's an awesome feeling. Kind of made my weekend a bit special. And yeah, thanks for the support. I'll talk to you guys again soon. See you later.